Hey everyone, John Williams with Kimberly Nurseries, and today we're going to talk about some more common tree and shrub problems. In our last video, we talked about iron chlorosis and some of the problems that it can cause and how to treat and maintain healthy-looking plants. Today we're going to talk about a few other problems that we find throughout our area that are quite common. One of the common problems that we find in our area is a problem called leaf scorch. Leaf scorch is when the edges or margins of the leaf turn brown and start to die. And then that slowly creeps back up onto the leaf. Leaf scorch is one of those problems that can be a result of severe iron chlorosis. Other main causes of leaf scorch primarily result from the plant's inability to take up water. Most commonly, you find leaf scorch when it gets really hot, and in our area it can get really hot in the summers, and so leaf scorch can happen on plants that may need some additional water. You'll oftentimes find leaf scorch on plants that were just recently transplanted or recently planted. Leaf scorch on transplanted material is very common and normal. It's often referred to as transplant shock. What you'll find is after the plant's been in for a few weeks, you should see new leaves starting to grow from the nodes on the stems, and this is a key indicator that the plant is pulling out of the transplant shock. However, those leaves that have leaf scorch on them typically won't recover. If you don't want the unsightly leaf scorch, go ahead and snip those off when you start seeing new leaves starting to grow. Just because a plant is showing signs of leaf scorch doesn't mean you need to pour a lot of water on it. Leaf scorch can also be caused by too much water. What happens is the soil becomes saturated with water, and then the roots can't grow the fine micro hairs to be able to absorb the water. So it exhibits the symptoms of not having enough water despite the fact that it has too much water. So if you're seeing signs of leaf scorch on your plants, it's best to test the soil and make sure it's not overly wet. If you get into a situation like this, cut the water back significantly and allow that soil to dry out. This will allow for the formation of those fine root hairs and allow that plant a chance to recover. Overall, leaf scorch isn't something to be greatly concerned about. It's more an indicator of an underlying issue. So if you're experiencing issues with leaf scorch, it's best to find the underlying cause and work to resolve it. So another common tree and shrub problem we have in our area deals primarily with spruce trees, and it's called needle cast. This is a fungus that can get on your spruce trees and cause the needles to fall off. One of the primary ways to identify this problem is if you have new growth that comes out on a spruce tree that seems untouched, but the inside of the tree is starting to die back. What you'll typically find is that the needles will start to fall off around late summer to fall, and that they'll start falling off of the lower branches first and then work their way up higher in the tree. Also, if the branch has been infected for 3 or 4 years in a row, the stress is such where it could cause that particular branch to die. If the tree's been infected for a long period without resolution, it can cause the spruce tree to die. Because needle cast is a fungus, it spreads by transmitting from an infected tree to a non-infected tree. It typically spreads by water contact or wind, and what you'll find is if one tree gets infected, it's only a matter of time until another tree gets infected unless it's treated. If you notice you may have needle cast on your trees, the best thing to do is contact a reputable spray company, have them come out and recommend a treatment. Another common tree problem we have in our area is dealing with borers. For those that may not know what a borer is an insect that will lay its eggs on the tree, and the larva will bore into the tree and actually eat on the cambium layer of the tree. This can cause the branch to die off or can ultimately kill the tree. A common symptom of borers is you'll oftentimes have a branch or multiple branches of a tree die back where other branches seem to be just fine and healthy. If you want to do a closer inspection and can get up close to the trunk, if you look for little small 1/4 inch size holes that seem to be drilled into the trunk with a drill, that is a key indicator of an infection with borers. Along with a small 1/4 inch size hole, you may also see little pockets of sawdust at the base of the tree. This is an indication that something has been boring into your tree. If you suspect you might have borers in your tree, the best thing to do is call a spray service that can come out and do a more thorough examination and recommend a treatment program. The last tree and shrub problem we're going to talk about today is an insect called black vine weevil. This is an insect that can cause a lot of cosmetic damage to your plant, but most of the time it's not anything that's going to cause some severe damage. The adult black vine weevils, they live in the soil and come out at night and will chew the margins of the leaf, and it looks like there are small little cutouts on the perimeter of the leaf. Like I said, this is all cosmetic. It's not to be confused with another insect called cutter bees. Cutter bees cut out a large, almost full circle out of the leaf, whereas black vine weevils' bites are typically small and irregular. For control of black vine weevil, once again, it's best to call a spray company, have them come out and recommend treatment. There are some soil drenches, there are some insecticides that you can apply to help control those insects. If you have any questions about other tree and shrub problems that you come across, please feel free to give our office a call or come by with samples, and we will be happy to help you out.